Whatever the setbacks of the moment, nothing can stop us now. Whatever the difficulties, Africa shall be at peace. However improbable it may sound to the skeptics, Africa will prosper.
Education is the light in a dark room. It's the spark of a dream, a passport to the future, and the seed of generational change. Through education, we reflect on yesterday and define tomorrow. UNISA stands at the pinnacle of education through open distance e-learning with a footprint of students in 130 countries worldwide. Rooted in South Africa and the African continent, UNISA can truly claim to be the African university in the service of humanity. Since the founding of the university in 1873, as an examining body, we have been a trailblazer. UNISA is the first and only institution in South Africa to carry our country's name with pride and the first public university in the world to exclusively teach by means of distance education, an ever-changing dynamic university with a global reach. UNISA's history spans the entire modern history of South Africa, opening up a world of academic study opportunities to former activists and struggle heroes, thought leaders, business people, legal experts, acclaimed entertainers, and sports stars. The university takes pride in the more than 900,000 alumni making their mark in diverse fields and capacities. At UNISA, the World Wide Web is our educational playground, but we also have beautiful and impressive campuses. UNISA's Makelneek campus is located in the city of Tshwane and is a major landmark of the capital city. We encouraged our students to communicate with the university via online platforms, but you can visit the UNISA's Sunnyside campus, the perfect setting for students to engage with fellow students over a cup of inspiration. The Science Campus in Florida, Johannesburg, is designed to meet the education and research needs of students in a range of programs, including agriculture, nature conservation, consumer sciences, engineering, computing, and physics, to name a few. Students in the sciences now have access to UNISA's own laboratories, housing some of the most state-of-the-art infrastructure and laboratory equipment available. Distance learning requires that you study at your own time and in your own space, but that doesn't mean you're on your own. You can also visit a UNISA regional center to get advice, meet other students, make use of UNISA services, have conversations with counselors, and use our academic libraries. We offer an unparalleled range of study choices, ranging from short courses and certificate programs to 3- and 4-year degrees, diplomas, as well as master's and doctoral degrees, with close to 380,000 current students. Our rich tapestry of study disciplines includes the College of Accounting Sciences, Agriculture and Environmental Sciences, Economic and Management Sciences, Education, Graduate Studies, Human Sciences, Law, Science, Engineering and Technology, and the Graduate School of Business Leadership, as well as the Thabo Mbeki School of Public and International Affairs. As a comprehensive open distance e-learning pioneer, UNISA is known for delivering well-designed, interactive study material and integrated student support. Students have access to a menu of support services ranging from face-to-face tutorials and academic literacy services to study groups and e-tutors. One of UNISA's main aims is to harness the new and emerging potential in information and communication technology, catapulting the university into a truly digital future. To this end, examinations are conducted on college-specific exam portals and are accessed from the My Exams portal. UNISA is well placed to address society's most demanding challenges by using research to meaningfully transform the lives of those in our communities. To that end, UNISA is working towards instituting the following catalytic niche areas: marine studies, aviation and aeronautical studies, automotive studies, energy studies, space study and square kilometer array, fourth industrial revolution and digitalization, natural sciences, health studies or medicine, feminist, womanist, Bosadi theorizations, and student support and co-curricular activities. As Africa's leading open distance e-learning university, UNISA strives to keep up with the constantly evolving higher education landscape in order to serve our students to the best of our ability. We can reflect with great pride on the past 150 years of transformational education, and we are confident in our ability to succeed and become a truly high-performance university as we define tomorrow.
Going digital. UNISA is an open distance e-learning institution, which means that online tools will play a big role in the students' study experience. By becoming computer literate and being comfortable using online tools, we're preparing students for the demands of the digital age. All students need to have access to myUnisa, UNISA's student platform. You can find myUnisa at my.unisa.ac.za. You will be able to access your study material online, submit assignments online, and perform a number of admin tasks. For example, change your address, update your telephone number, or check your exam timetable. All UNISA students also get a free MyLife email account for life. This MyLife email address is the only email address recognized by UNISA and sends important information, updates, and changes to this account. You can access your MyLife email via a link on the myUnisa homepage. How and where to connect online. It's best to have your own computer and your own internet connection, 3G or an ADSL line. If you don't have a computer or online access, you still have a few online options. You can use an internet cafe or some other public internet facility. You can ask to use someone else's PC and/or internet connection. You can make use of UNISA's telecenters, which provide registered students with limited free internet access. Software and data. As a UNISA student, you now get access to Microsoft Office 365 and 1 terabyte of online storage as part of your MyLife email account, free of charge. Office includes familiar software such as Word, PowerPoint, Excel, and OneDrive. OneDrive gives you 1 terabyte of online storage. With Office 365, you have the perfect place to store all your personal files. From photographs, movies, to your UNISA assignments, you'll be able to save it all. All your files will be stored online, which means you'll be able to access them anytime, anywhere. You can also connect to UNISA on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. These are great channels through which to share ideas, find other students, ask questions, and generally stay informed. Visit my.unisa.ac.za.
Good morning, everyone. A warm welcome to everyone who's just joined today's session, which is the Student Orientation for Honors Program. My name is Harold Nkwangwane, and I'm a lecturer in the Department of Psychology. Today, I'll be your co-host. Together with Mr. Pilane, we'll be facilitating today's session, which is the Student Orientation. This is our second day of the orientation. Since yesterday, we had a session with our undergraduate students. We hope that today we will continue to have a fruitful engagement as we facilitate these presentations that will inform you about different ways to navigate in an open distance e-learning. Just some ground rules. The microphones will be muted to ensure that there are no interruptions during the presentations. Feel free to make use of the chat and the Q&A to send to send your questions and comments on the chat. I just want to give it to Mr. Kataiho to also introduce yourself before we start with the program.
Thank you, Mr. Ngongwane. Good morning, everyone. We would like to also just welcome all of you. My name is Kataiho Pilane, and I'm going to be the co-host, co-program director for this session. You are all welcome. Thank you so much. I hope you have a fruitful event ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pilane. Just an overview of what we'll be covering in today's session. We'll be having Ms. Prinsloo, who is from the Postgraduate Administration Department, and her presentation will be focusing mainly on student registration matters. Mrs. Mgra from the Student Retention Unit will be focusing on an overview of studying at UNISA. Mr. Nkuna from the ACT Suite, Academic Students Support, will be focusing on support systems and different support strategies that are also available for students with disabilities. Mr. Molefe will be engaging us on different services that are offered in the library services. And also Dr. Shirindam Tombeni, who is the Honors Program Coordinator in the Department of Psychology, will be giving us an overview of studying honors in psychology at UNISA. Ms. Maboa from the Department of Counseling and Career Development will be giving us an overview of careers in psychology, but her presentation will be focusing mainly on post-honors. And then that will be followed by Dr. Janice Moodley, who is representing the Research Ethics Committee and will be engaging us and giving us a presentation on academic integrity with a focus on Turnitin and plagiarism. From then, we'll just take a detour to focus more on questions and answers, and our vote of thanks will be done by Professor Seth Nkosi. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our acting chair of the department, Dr. Erlyn Godin, who will be officially welcoming us to the session and declaring the session open. Dr. Godin, over to you.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Mr. Nkongwane and Mr. Pilane. I want to start by quoting that knowledge is power, and today's session is filled with crucial information to empower you in your studies as honors students at UNISA. With that said, welcome to the Honors Student Orientation session, which is hosted by the Department of Psychology. Before we get into the presentations listed in today's program, please allow me to do a formal welcome and acknowledgement to our Executive Dean, Prof. Nkosi, our Deputy Executive Dean, Prof. Mshawa, our School Director for the School of Social Sciences, Prof. Maleki, members of college management, colleagues in the Department of Psychology, and colleagues from our administrative and support departments. I want to also welcome all our honors students at UNISA. I further welcome all our presenters. I believe you will provide our students with valuable information as they journey as an honors student at UNISA. Last but definitely not least, I want to welcome our program directors, Mr. Nkongwane and Mr. Pilane, who will be facilitating the session. Program directors, the session is now open and over to you for chairing purposes. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Godin. We feel the love and we feel welcome. And I just want to say that your statement that you made regarding that knowledge is power, we hope that our students will feel more informed as we run this session and also after the session. So we trust that this session will be very informative to our students and they will feel more empowered. Without going into details, I just want to welcome Ms. Prinsloo, who will be taking us through the student registration matters and who's representing the Postgraduate Administrative Department. Ms. Prinsloo, over to you.
Good morning, everyone and colleagues, and welcome to this Psychology Orientation Day. I just want to share my slides with you. I hope everyone can see my slides. Today, I just want to talk to you about the admission application and registrations for the Honours in Psychology qualification, since I've got a few queries regarding the applications which were declined and the registrations and the admission. The minimum admission requirement for the psychology is obviously a completed B degree with an average of 60%. But the most headache that we all have is that all the applications for the Honours in Psychology goes to enrollment management, because more qualifying students are applying for the Honours Psychology than what is allowed from the Department of Higher Education. So all the applications go through to enrollment management, and from there on, the students can be admitted. What I wanted to emphasize also is, if you have a completed B degree, but you did not include psychology as a major subject, please apply for the Honours Psychology degree. We will send this through your application, send it through to the Honours Department for evaluation. They normally make an evaluation or recommendation for non-degree purposes. We will amend your application to non-degree purposes in order for you to follow that route to get into the Honours at the end of the day. Okay, and I hope this will assist you. I have included the registration dates for everyone for 2023. Unfortunately, the closing date currently is tomorrow for all the Honours modules, because they are offered as year modules. I wanted to include for you also additional information, is if you want at the end of the day to continue with clinical psychology, you have to follow the counselling stream. We have 3 streams in the Honours of Psychology. It's the APP, Applied Psychology for Professional Context, the counselling stream, this one which I'm referring to, and the Community and Health Psychology. So you have to follow the counselling stream in order to get, at the end of the day, in your master's qualification, if you want to apply for that, you have to complete this qualification. Also, a few queries which I got is, if you want to upgrade your marks, you are not allowed to repeat psychology modules at UNISA. So in other words, you cannot do the same module in order to upgrade the module mark. Okay, so what you can do, this is not the train smash, you can just go to another institution, repeat it there and upgrade the mark, and then you can reapply at UNISA, and then you can qualify in order to qualify for you. Okay, I hope everything is in order, and I have also included my personal information, my email address, and also odds-ons. If you have any further queries, please email us. We are available, and I think the slides will also be made available through for you by the department at the end of the day. Thank you so much, and enjoy this session.
Thank you so much, Ms. Prinsloo, for a very concise and very brief but well-detailed presentation. I think our students, they now know where to contact you and to engage with you should they have issues regarding registrations, more specifically relating to the postgraduate programs. The next item on the agenda relates to an overview of studying at UNISA. Ms. Mkra from Student Retention Unit will be providing us with more information with regards to that. Ms. Mkra, over to you.
I hope you can hear me. Good morning, everyone.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, I thought I should show my face just a little bit, and then I'm going to turn off my camera as I try to share my presentation.
Thank you for showing your face.
You'll tell me once you can see the presentation on your side.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay,
Thank you.
perfect. Thank you very much. Welcome to everyone, and good morning. Good morning, honors psychology students. Most importantly, my name is Zuzega Prudence Mcha, and I will take you through the overview of studying at UNISA. So, congratulations on being admitted and registered for your honors degree in psychology. We wish that you will have a smooth transition into postgraduate studies. Congratulations. So some of you might already know that UNISA is an ODEL institution. So UNISA is an open distance e-learning institution, and you will need to understand that it offers a different way of learning. So some of you come from face-to-face institutions, and you're coming to UNISA for the first time. So we need you to try and understand that we don't function the same way as the face-to-face or contact institutions. And this means that there is a physical distance between you and UNISA. So for most of us, this means that our previous learning experience will not have prepared us for the UNISA study journey. So in ODEL, you take the responsibility of planning your studies, and you are also expected to manage your time effectively. You will not be attending classes as you learn from a distance, and you connect to the university mostly via the internet, which is why also you will see that the institution will provide students with data. This is so that you are able to connect with us and contact us when you need to. So distance e-learning requires that you study in your own time and in your own space, but that doesn't mean you are on your own. UNISA does provide various facilities and services to cater for its diverse student population. So our lecturers, our e-tutors, counselors in the UNISA library all play a big part in making your qualification a reality, as do the various support staff providers that you will encounter along the way in your studies. So please feel free to reach out to us when you need any help. We'll be available to assist you as the institution. So I am from the College of Human Sciences under the Office of Tuition Support, and I work in the CHS student retention unit. So there is an institutional student retention unit, but the college also has its own. So the unit works to retain and forge a generation of UNISA, successful UNISA students. So we are here to ensure that you succeed in your studies. So there is a challenge of student dropout across universities in the country, actually in the whole world. So the challenge of dropout across universities is finding it found UNISA in a situation where they had to now put in support strategies, and these units came to be so that we are able to offer you extended support and make sure that you succeed in your studies and make sure that you finish your studies in record time. So these strategies will be coming from our CHS retention unit and also from the institutional retention unit. So please be on the lookout of communication that might come from me or from the institutional student retention unit. And you will also probably you have also noticed now that there is an email that I have sent to you sharing a recording that was done by the Directorate of Counseling and Career Development, just to prepare you for your studies and to help you manage anxieties and fears of not being able to handle your studies as you do your postgraduate studies. So please do go through those videos. They are very helpful. So the unit is important, and it comes in to look at why students take longer to complete their studies, what support do students need, and why some of the students drop out before they could complete their studies. So the unit then looks at how we can plan our support interventions to support you as our UNISA students. So most students come from high school or contact institutions, like we have said, and they don't know how to work around open distance learning and how to reach out to the support that we provide or to your lecturers. Please always check communication from your emails, which will be your MyLife email addresses. There will be communication that's coming from there. There will be support services that and details of the people to contact. So you need to always learn to contact the right people at the right time for you to get the support that you need. So at UNISA, you take the responsibility of planning your studies, and you do not have classes to attend, and you do not need to, and you need to be able to pace yourself. So we won't be following you up to say, you haven't submitted your assignment, please submit your assignment. It's your duty. You need to plan your studies, and you need to be able to pace yourself and make sure that you are up to date with all your submissions. And if you have exams, then you have to make sure that you qualify for exams at all times. And also communicate with your lecturers when you're not sure about something in your studies. So some of you might feel isolated at times, since they might be used to, you might be used to a contact university environment. You can form study groups with other students. I don't mean form study groups now as you are sitting in this orientation, but once you get to start with your studies, please do form study groups with other students, and this will help you create a support community so that you do not feel like you are alone in your studies. So support groups are really important with the people that you do the same modules as. So make sure that you also avoid postponing things like your study time and assessment submissions. Yes, there is flexibility in open distance e-learning, but you must be careful not to fall behind with your studies. So you have a degree and you had a plan that worked for you while you were doing your undergraduate studies, but you might need to make adjustments when you create a study plan for your postgraduate studies. So remember, the workload might be more this year and might be more intense. So please try and see what worked for you and see if it will work for you this year, and make some adjustments where you need to. So we also have what we call the Grow Your Own Timber project for honors students in the college. So this project has employed 12 honors students, and they work as postgraduate assistants in the different departments in our college. But the idea behind this was that we should give our own students an opportunity to get work experience, and the target was students that were unemployed and also students with disabilities. So the project is still running, but we have not yet employed more people. We might be doing that sometime next year. But be on the lookout when I send an email and maybe approach you and ask for CVs. And we also offered 5,000 rands bursaries to some of the students that we had last year. Those were students that were rejected by the bursary office. And the main reason was mostly that they didn't do their undergraduate studies at UNISA. But we assisted students with these bursaries so that they are able to register with us and start with their studies. So we are also looking into doing this year, looking at students that would have been rejected by the bursary office. So remember, as you come into the institution, you have a role to play as a student to ensure that you succeed in your studies. So this is what's expected of you. There are activities that you will need to perform at each stage of your study journey. Like after registration, you are required to activate your myUnisa account and your myLife email address for you to have access to the important information your lecturers and the institution will be sharing with you. So if you have not activated your myUnisa account, you need to do so as soon as possible. And remember, myUnisa is UNISA's online student portal. and is the most important study tool. So it's something that you have to use. It's really important. It's going to be a part of you as you journey with us, and throughout your study journey at UNISA, you will be using your myUnisa student portal. So please make sure that you activate your myUnisa account and be ready for your studies. So the myUnisa platform is going to be, like I said, a big part of your studies going forward, so you have to know it and understand it. So if there's trainings that you are invited to, whether by the Student Retention Unit or by EdOff, please attend those and learn a bit more about it. Also, you are expected to use your MyLife email address when you communicate with the institution. So avoid using your personal work email addresses or your Gmail email addresses to communicate with us. You will not be responded to. Students are encouraged to use their MyLife email address. So when you go through the UNISA website, you'll find a lot of helpful information such as Study at UNISA Roadmap, what you see right now on your screen. So you will find the information under student support and regions, and this will help you as there is important information that you will definitely benefit from, which is prepare for study success, how to get started with your studies, how to do your assignments, preparing for exams, what to expect after the exams, student values, student policy and rules. So you also need to understand your curriculum as a student. This will help you so that every time when you register, you choose the correct modules. And this information is available under Study at UNISA. And also remember, when you're not sure about something, please do contact the Department of Psychology and they'll be able to assist you. So what is expected from you? So it is important for you to check myUnisa announcement so you are aware of what is happening around you. The College of Graduate Studies hosts a number of research workshops that will be beneficial to you. So please make sure that you check the announcements and myLife email addresses for communication from the College of Graduate Studies. I also do sometimes extend their invites and email the invites to the students. So please also be on the lookout from emails that will be coming from me. So learning happens online. So there are e-tutor sessions on myUnisa platform, and there are also discussion forums that you might make use of. So as a student, you are expected to be able to study independently. As in distance learning, you are responsible for your studies. You need to take some time to think about how you will commit to the study process and what you need to put in place to focus on your studies. To communicate with staff members at UNISA, remember to make sure that you use your email, your myLife email address, and also include your student number on the subject line. And avoid typing the whole message on the subject line. It doesn't work like that. Subject line, please make sure you put your student number. So of great importance is time management. So we know that in addition to your studies, you have other commitments. To avoid becoming overwhelmed or feeling out of control, it is important to have a structure to manage your responsibilities and allocate the necessary time to your studies. You can look at the Directorate for Counseling and Career Development website to find more information on time management skills and other study skills that will help you. And you will also be getting emails when they have workshops and have recordings that they want students to look at, and their recordings are quite helpful. So planning your studies and committing to the plan is also very important. Your study plan will also help you to renegotiate your time with yourself and others. So if you have not done this already, you need to think about when you will study, think about your commitments and when is it best for you to do your schoolwork. So if you are a morning person, you really need to start planning your studies, your study time around the mornings, especially if you don't have work. And if you have work, also plan around maybe spending 2 hours before you start with work. Spend that 2 hours on your studies, and just make sure that you keep that going and you don't lose momentum. And if you do that, you will see that your studies will go smoothly. And also, please remember to communicate with the department whenever you have challenges. So think about your commitments and when you are at your best. I know that I am at my best in the early hours of the day. And what about you? So you really need to start thinking about that. So take note of what you do and how you spend your time. It is important to take a look at your planning. Do you need to put anything on hold until you complete your qualification? This could be regular trips to see family members and so on. So if the regular trips are going to delay your studies, you need to really start thinking about changing your life to make sure that your qualification comes first and you complete on time. And also, if you're still temporarily registered, please make sure that you activate your registration so you can start running with your studies. So you need to stay focused and ask for guidance from your lecturers when you struggle with your studies. And remember to put in the correct amount of time for your modules. The number of hours you spend on your modules will be very important for you to be able to succeed and do well in your studies. So to succeed at UNISA, you will need to make sure you go through your study material, plan for your studies and how you spend your time, start going through the overview of your study guide. You need to pay attention to your learning objectives. You will need time management skills, and please reach out when you need help in finding the videos that the Directorate for Counseling has already shared on their website. I'll be able to help you find those. So don't leave things till later. I keep saying make sure that your planning is properly done and do not delay. Check when you have assignments that are due, when is your research report due, and make sure that you do your work and submit before the deadline. Remember to set realistic goals for yourself and prioritize wisely. So when you study, set time limits and take breaks between tasks. That is really important. Always try to plan ahead. This will assist you with staying on track with all your modules that you are registered for. So ask questions and engage proactively with your lecturers. Familiarize yourself with the module learning outcomes. So when you study, it is important to also make notes. And you will find also that there are videos about taking notes. Also make use of the Directorate of Counseling and Career Development for tips on how to take notes. And yeah, I think I'm going to finish now, but please always check your My Life emails for important communication. Make sure you complete all your assessments. Remember, assignments help lecturers to see whether you understand the module, and they help you to learn the work and prepare for exams. So they are critical and compulsory. So remember that there are those assignments that you won't be able to write exams if you don't complete. So always check and double check with your lecturers what's compulsory that you have to do for you to really qualify for exams. So the assignments are important as they help to also contribute to your final mark. So it is vital for you to really put time and energy into that work and do your best in making sure that you pass and you follow all the guidelines that the department has put up. So as UNISA staff, we are here to assist you. So do seek assistance and clarity when there is a need. And please also reach out to the department. They'll be able to support you. And if you struggle with that, also reach out to the CHS help desk. They will be able to guide you as well, and also reach out to me, Zuzeka Prudence Mcha. My email address is mkrazp@unisa.ac.za. If you have any challenges and you're not getting responses as fast as you think you should, please do reach out to me. I'll be able to direct your query to the relevant departments and assist you with following up. So thank you very much for your time, and I wish you nothing but the best with your studies, and enjoy the year. Thank you very much, colleagues. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Mitra, for giving a very comprehensive presentation on the Student Retention Unit in the College of Human Sciences. So now we can rest assured that our students are well informed of the unit and they understand what the functions of the unit are, what is expected of them, what they need to do to succeed, and then which is a very important aspect of their study journey, to understand, the expectations of the institution and those of the students. Thank you so much. Before I can introduce our next presenter, I would like to acknowledge the presence of Professor Zethu Nkosi, our Executive Dean in the College of Human Sciences. You are welcome, Prof. Without any waste of time, I would like to introduce and call upon to the podium Mr. Nkuna from the ACSUIT unit, the Academic Support Officer in that office. Mr. Nkuna, you are welcome.
Good morning, and thank you so much, Chair. And good morning, students. As introduced, my name is Pintias Nkuna. I'm from the Advocacy and Resource Center for Students with Disabilities. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a clear indication from the university side that we take reasonable accommodation seriously. So, the Advocacy and Resource Center for Students with Disabilities is within the Department of Students Affairs under the Office of the Dean of Students. This office provides a wide range of services for students with disabilities throughout the student work. We also assist students in terms of completing application and registration, advising them to complete a special assistance form. And one may ask, what is the special assistance form? This is a form that is completed by students who require study material in alternative formats. The reason for this particular form is because we don't apply the one-size-fits-all approach, whereby when a student discloses their disability as maybe being blind, we say all blind students will need braille study material, or all blind students will need electronic study material. We assist you based on your individual needs. We convert the study material in different formats, depending on your needs, and we also provide sign language interpretation services as and when required for our deaf and hard of hearing students. We provide inputs to the UNISA systems, including your myUnisa and myLife, to ensure that it accommodates the diverse needs of students with disabilities. We also established and launched multipurpose computer labs in different regions. Students, I must say that these computer labs are equipped with access technology to accommodate the diverse needs of students with disabilities. I'm aware now that the ICT department is working on these systems to ensure that everything is up to date. In the spirit of nothing about us without us, which is the slogan for persons with disabilities, we established regional forums and association for students with disabilities to ensure that students with disabilities always have a voice on matters that affects them. We provide training on orientation and mobility. And one may ask, what is this orientation and mobility? Ladies and gentlemen, to simplify orientation and mobility, it's a training that is provided to students who are blind or partially sighted to enable them to move from point A to point B without any challenges. I'm sure from time to time you came across students or people using a white cane. They can only use that particular cane to maneuver after receiving the orientation and mobility training. We request concession with regards to extension of assignments for students with disabilities who are unable to submit due to their disabilities or at times due to medical conditions. Ladies and gentlemen, I must say that by so doing, we don't encourage laziness. We appeal to you to submit assignments on the date as prescribed by the university, unless there are unforeseen circumstances. That's where we can come in and ensure that you are not disadvantaged. We assist students to apply for special examination arrangements. And one may ask, what is this special examination arrangements? Special examination arrangements are designed to ensure that students with disabilities receive reasonable accommodation, like extra time. You can apply for extra time, and the extra time, it depends on your disability or the severity of your disability. Let me give you an example, students. You may find that two of you present the same disability. That could be paraplegia, but only to find that the paraplegia in terms of levels is different. Therefore, the extra time will also differ. We also advocate for alternative assessments in cases whereby our assessments does not accommodate your disability. Alternative assessments includes oral exams on Teams. We advise our examination department to ensure that when they allocate resources, they consider the needs of students with disabilities, including the proctoring. In collaboration with our sister department, Student Funding, we assist students to apply for financial assistance, which cater for their tuition fees, prescribed books, assistive devices, such as your laptop with a screen reader, JAWS, NVDA, or laptop with text magnification software, which is Zoom Text, motorized wheelchairs for our students who are quadriplegic, manual wheelchairs for students with paraplegia, amputees, digital voice recorders, hearing aids, just to mention a few. And you also, this buzzer also assist in terms of human support. Human support can include your sign language interpretation services, whereby our deaf students will need somebody to interpret for them, or a lip reader. And this allocation has a 2,000 Rand allocation for medical assessment. This is to ensure that whenever we request a proof of your disability as the university, we are able to provide it. We also work with publishers, both locally and internationally, to ensure that students with print disabilities, which could be blind students, students with learning disabilities, receive electronic copies of prescribed books from them. We also conduct advocacy campaigns to raise awareness about the diverse needs of our students and the service available in the institution. And we also equip our staff members to keep abreast with disability-related matters. As our services are available from throughout the student work, during graduation, we also assist with ensuring an accessible parking space closer to the venue and conversion of program in alternative formats for our students with different disabilities. Just to give an example, whereby there's a blind student who will be graduating on that particular day, the student may request the program to be converted into Braille. And then for students who require sign language interpretation services, it is important that you inform the university in advance that on that particular day or this particular day you'll be graduating. Therefore, you need the service of a sign language interpreter. Students, I urge you all to join hands against the prejudice that constitute the biggest barrier against students with disabilities. In terms of disclosure, we encourage students not to conceal their disability. Because while we respect your right to disclose or not to disclose their disabilities, remember, students who does not disclose their disabilities may not receive or even demand reasonable accommodation from the university, because the university won't be aware of your individual needs. As I said earlier, we don't have the one-size-fits-all approach. And whether your disability is visible or invisible, it is important for you to disclose so that you can be reasonably accommodated. And we are aware that we have students who have both disabilities and those who acquired them throughout their study journey. Should it happen that you acquire a disability during your studies, please inform the university so that you can ensure that you receive the required reasonable accommodation. And I must say that the information provided about your disability, it only be used to accommodate you reasonably. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to bring this to your attention that the ACSWIT staff members comprises of staff members who are born with disabilities and those who acquired them in their lifetime. The reason for bringing this to your attention is to ensure that you feel safe when you disclose your information to us, because we have a first-hand experience about a disability. And again, I must say, students, you may not have a disability today. You can acquire a disability anytime, as disability can happen to anyone, anytime. Please let us treat our fellow students who have a disability with respect and dignity that they richly deserve. We are aware of students who are reluctant to disclose their disability due to the fear of stigma and victimization. I must say to you, students, no one will victimize you or stigmatize you if you disclose your disability. We will only ensure that we do our best to reasonably accommodate you. And all the services that I've mentioned are not provided to you as a favor. These services are part of your rights. As per the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, you have a right to receive this kind of support. The United Nations on the Convention of the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, it also states that persons with disabilities must be reasonably accommodated. And remember, as South Africa, we are a signatory to this convention, and we provide annual reports. The National Consumer Protection Act also accommodates you and protects your rights. The white paper on the rights of persons with disabilities, the education white paper, all these pieces of legislations, they are there to ensure that you are treated with respect and dignity and you receive the required support from the university. As I've mentioned earlier that we have this association in the forum, it is important that you participate, because from time to time we are aware of this slogan, nothing about us without us, that we cannot do anything without consulting you. To you students who are not yet persons with disabilities or who didn't join the world of disability so far, I'd like to sensitize you on the etiquette and terminology. It is important that whenever you come across your fellow students, whether you are in the lecture rooms or in the library or anywhere in the campus, please see the person first before the disability. Always refer to them as a student with a disability, not as a disabled person. Because if it's a disabled student, when do you enable the person because you already disabled them? If you have an alarm system at home, if it's disabled, the alarm system does not serve any purpose. And again, it is important to say not to refer to students with disabilities with their disability. Like for instance, the wheelchair user, the blind, the deaf. Let us address them using the names that they're given by their parents. If the name of the student is Joe, refer to him as Joe. If the name is Pintias, refer to the student as Pintias. And let us refrain from addressing our students as wheelchair bound. They are not wheelchair bound. They don't sleep on the wheelchair. They don't do everything on the wheelchair. They only use it to move from point A to point B. And again, we don't have students who are deaf. We don't have students who are deaf. And what's the word that I wanted to use? Okay, I'll come back to that word. Deaf and dumb, yes. From time to time, we hear people addressing our students saying deaf and dumb. No, there's no student who's deaf and dumb, because students, if you can go back and research the meaning of dumb, these students are not dumb. And again, if you come across your fellow student, maybe who are on wheelchairs, please do not just grab the wheelchair and push them around. First, find out from them if they need assistance, because wheelchair users, when they are pushing themselves, they sit in a particular position. When they are pushed by another person, they readjust the position. This to ensure that they don't fall. I know your intention will be to assist the student, but if you don't consult them, you may end up hurting them. Please do not grab a blind person. If you come across them, maybe you are from a lecture room or from the library or wherever, or in the intersection, don't just grab them and assume that they are going to the same direction that you are going to. And I must tell you, they will fight you very hard. They will hit you very hard because they think I'm being marked. Always talk to them before you can assist. Ladies and gentlemen, disability is not contagious. When you assist your fellow student with disability, you will not get that disability from assisting them. Do not pet a guide dog, because majority of our students who are blind, they use guide dogs. Please don't pet a guide dog. And when you communicate to our deaf or hard of hearing students, please don't shout. Simply look straight to them and communicate. And in cases whereby the student who's deaf is using a sign language interpreter, please always face the student when you're communicating, not the sign language interpreter. These are the contact details of the ACT office. Whenever you need us, we are there to provide the required service. Please always, when you send an email to the individual emails, always CC the ACT@unisa.ac.za to ensure that if the staff member who's responsible is not available, another staff member can provide the required services. And I've also included the contact details of our colleague from DSF, which is Student Funding, who assists with the bursary for students with disabilities. Ladies and gentlemen, now that you've heard about the services that we provide to you and to students with disabilities, I'd like to leave you with this quote by Thomas Edison. Our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is always to try just one more time. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Nkuna. That was very, 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 very informative to learn of the support resources, all of those that are across the board in the university. You know, how the ACT unit is doing, you know, all of those workshops to advise even the academic staff that deal directly with the disabled students. Also to understand the issues of sensitivity on etiquette and terminology that is appropriate to use. And we really appreciate it, Mr. Nguna. Thank you so much. We've all seen, I suppose that we've all seen the contact details, and then when you do want to contact the AXWID unit, please make sure that you include and CC the generic email address, which is axwid@unisa.ac.za. Thank you so much, Mr. Nguna. We will now go ahead to call upon Mr. Molefe from the UNISA Sunnyside Campus Library. He's the branch librarian there. Mr. Nguna, Mr. Molefe, you are called upon to the podium.
Thank you so much, Dr. Pilan. Let me see if I can share quickly. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you very much. My name is Colin Molefe. I'm based at the Gauteng Regional Libraries, and I'm based in Johannesburg. I was given a simple task to talk about the library resources and support for services for honors students. The objective of today is just so simple, to make sure that I know that most of our students usually access our libraries remotely because especially at honors level, most of them are working or probably they're busy with other issues of life. So I'll definitely make sure that they understand the e-resources that we have that are available so that they know that they can use the library at any point, anywhere where they are. The simple thing that they usually have to see, I think this is the page where they see whenever they log into myUnisa, that is the library home page. It's easily accessible immediately when you are logging into myUnisa. So I wanted to enlarge a bit and talk about what is our e-resources. Our e-resources is anything saved in an electronic format that can be either be a book, an article, or a chapter from a book. And our e-resources platform available from UNISA catalog are e-reserves and e-journals and e-books. I'll talk about e-reserves because it's something that we usually prepare as the library in conjunction with the department for easy access for our students. So students can easily access e-reserves using course code search options on the library catalog, especially our psychology honor students. Some they've got a module code called PYC 4802. That's the module code that they can use. Usually when they go through that particular option on the library catalog, they can easily see what have been prepared by the department and the library for them. And as I indicated earlier on, that e-reserves include prescribed recommended books and articles. So this is how the library page will look like. And there is a search option there where you can easily search your material using that particular course code. As I indicated earlier on, that especially when you are an honor student being remotely, so you can easily see which prescribed book you are supposed to use, which articles has been reserved for you, and also recommended books for your module as well. So this is the course code search option where students are supposed to use. As I indicated earlier on, that we do have a PYC 4802, which is one of the modules from our psychology student. You can see that the search result does appear there. Number one, it talks about electronic resources. Electronic resources will be the article that has been prepared for our students. A prescribed book will be the book that that is a prescribed material for that particular module, and also the recommended books that they can use in support of their studies. Then I'll go to the e-journals. The library's electronic databases are primary sources of finding electronic journals articles. Students are advised to allow to search for specific electronic journals using an e-journal finder. Students are advised to use e-journal finder only when they are looking for specific journal title or they have a specific reference to an article. That assists students so that they can be able to know how to go about, because usually you must have a specific reference to be able to have such particular access. This is the list of the e-journal finder. You can easily browse our journals using A to Z, or you can also browse by discipline. You can see underneath the students from agriculture and the others, they can also use using their discipline so that they can be able to search using that particular search option. We do have ebooks. Ebook, I think, as I stated, is an electronic book publication which is made available on a digital form. UNISA Library Catalog has an option to search for ebooks. And as I indicated earlier, we do have prescribed books because as an ODEL or a CODEL institution, we're trying to move to an e-environment where students can be able to access material, not by necessarily visiting our libraries across the country. The search options for using an e-books is there. You can easily see that on the site. Before you submit your search option, you can easily select that the resource or the source that I'm looking for should only be in an ebook format. I just typed earlier on when I was doing a search to show that a student from psychology can say, I'm looking for a psychology book, which is only available in an e-format. By doing that, that is the search result. And the search results does indicate that the location of the book is an electronic book and a status, it says it's online. And underneath, you can easily see where it says full text ebook at EBSCOhost, which is one of the databases that we are subscribed to. So our student can easily access such material without even coming to our library, especially talking to our honor students that will definitely go to be an M&D students, which will definitely have to make sure that they are clued up about their online services. Chairperson, with the load shedding that is about to start, that's why I had to be a little bit quicker in terms of elaborate. I'm expecting load shedding now at 10. Students are encouraged to make use of our library trainings so that they can be self-sufficient. We do have library trainings that are available on the library page. Also, we do have one-on-one trainings that we provide to our students, especially on the Gauteng Regional Center. Students can visit Ekurhuleni, student can visit Sunnyside campus, and student can also visit Johannesburg Learning Center. Our operation is between 7:45 and 1600 hours. A librarian will be able to have a one-on-one training, a group training, and we also do offer online trainings that are advertised on some of our digital platforms. Students are also advised to use online catalogs, which usually helps them access the library services at any time and anywhere. This is in line with ODL or CODEL strategy. From my side, it's Colin Molefe. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Thank you so much, Mr. Molefe, for a very precise and well-detailed presentation. In your presentation, you empowered us on how to navigate the library portal. In doing so, we were able to see how to access e-reserves, e-books, and catalogs. So thank you for that. I do take note that you mentioned that you might be disconnected due to load shedding. I kindly ask that you also provide your contact details on the Q&A or on the chat for our students, should there be any questions or any follow-ups regarding your PowerPoint. So thank you for that. The next presentation relates to an overview of honors in psychology at UNISA. Dr. Shirinda Mtombeni, who is the honors program coordinator, will take us through the program. Dr. Shirinda Mtombeni, over to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Program Director. Good morning, everyone. My name is Kate Shirinda Mtombeni. I will be taking you through an overview of the Honors in Psychology program. Let me try to share my presentation. Can you see my presentation?
Yes, we can see it.
Thank you.
Thank you. If you can just kindly maximize it. Thank you.
There we go. We know that honors is a rewarding final year of undergraduate study for students. So students extend their knowledge and strengthen their research through higher level coursework modules and independent research. Hence, they need our support to accomplish the task and progress to further postgraduate studies. I believe that I will be addressing our registered students and our prospective students. In the Department of Psychology, we say congratulations on being accepted for your honors degree. We hope that this program will inspire you to engage in lifelong learning and also facilitate personal growth. We are happy to have you in our department. To our prospective students, we are waiting for you. So the Honors Psychology program has 3 streams. We have Honors BA in Psychological Counseling. We have Honors BA in Community and Health Psychology. We have Honors BA in Applied Psychology for Professional Context. So the curriculum, each degree has 8 modules. So for all the streams, we have 3 compulsory modules. We have the research report, we have the research methodology, we have the psychopathology module. So these ones are compulsory. So we have other modules to complete the streams. These are the streams and the other modules that are required for you to complete a degree. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can see under psychological counseling, you have 5 modules. Under community and health psychology, you have 5 modules. Under applied psychology for professional context, you have 5 modules. So all in all, there are 8 modules to complete your degree. So all the modules have 12 credits, except the research report that has 36 credits. So they all count to 120 credits that are required for you to complete your degree. So please note that the modules are not interchangeable between the various streams. Like here, you see you have these modules for psychological counseling. You cannot change and move to community and health psychology. So the modules are not interchangeable. Hence, we do not encourage you to change the streams because the curriculum on each stream differs. You will forfeit some of the modules that you have passed because they do not fall under the chosen streams. You see only here, you have only 4814, only 4814, but the other ones are not the same. So that's why we are not encouraging our students to change between the streams. So we have program module matters. All the modules are available on myUnisa portal. So when you go to the site, you will find a welcome message or an orientation to your module. So please browse the site for more information concerning your registered modules. We have also a tutorial letter 301 in all the modules. Included in the tutorial letter is a brief outline of the honors papers offered and the titles of the books prescribed for the modules. So the latest information regarding the prescribed books also appear in tutorial letter 101 for each module, which is supplied to all registered students. So tutorial letter 101 has all the information you need to know about the modules. Read it carefully. We emphasize the importance of doing your assignments on time. So assignments form an important part of the learning process, as you know. So check the assignment due dates and plan accordingly. I know that some of you have already registered and selected the modules for this year. We usually advise you not to register all the modules in 1 year, especially if you are not studying full-time. We advise you to stretch the modules over 2 or 3 years. So we advise and propose this because we noticed some of the students who struggled with the workload after registering all the modules. The workload can be so disturbing to a point where you drop out or fail the modules, especially if you are working. So please note that you are not allowed to repeat the modules to improve your marks because the program is usually oversubscribed. And I think Mrs. Prinsloo also indicated this on her presentation. So you are only allowed to register the module to have additional knowledge. In that case, you will register for a non-degree purpose, and you are only allowed to register 2 modules and not more than 2 modules. So to our prospective students, we only allow an average of 60% to enter the program. Because the program is oversubscribed, we do not consider any appeals if you did not meet the requirements. So another important thing that I want to address is we have a challenge of students who want to register with the Health Profession Council of South Africa after completing their honors. So please note that the academic honors degree does not lead to a registration with the Health Profession Council of South Africa. You need to complete a BSAC program or a BSAC equivalent program in order to register with the council. So please go to the Health Profession Council website for more information. More information will also be found on the South African Psychology Student Network. So there is the link to the website. So the South African Psychology Student Network is a network platform created to help students better understand the rules that lead to professional registration in the field of psychology. It has more information and resources aimed at developing an understanding of what the route to becoming a psychologist for a registered counselor in South Africa entails. It will also show you the university that still offers a BSAC program or a BSAC equivalent program, which will allow you to register with the HPCSA. Please go to the website for more information. Remember, our BSAC program was phased out in 2012. So we don't have it. So it will be good if you go and check on the site for other universities that are still offering the program. So our communication email is the most efficient way to contact the teaching team. Please note that you must only use your MyLife email address when communicating with us. Make sure that it is activated. In your module site on myUnisa portal, you will also have the discussion forum. Some modules have discussion forums, some modules have student cafe, and some might have both of them. So the discussion forums, please make use of this platform to discuss module-related issues. This is the forum to discuss assignments and exams. We also, as teaching teams, go through the discussion forum to check what you are discussing and to answer some of the questions. But the student cafe is the place where you can chat to each other about issues concerning the course, or just to chat about the modules in general. This is a platform where you can also form study groups on Facebook or on WhatsApp. So you'll decide how you want to start the groups. So do not hesitate to contact us if you have any inquiries or experience problems with any aspect of our honors course. And then here are our contact details. This is for the coordination team. So you will have your teaching teams in your tutorial letter 101. So make sure you make use of the email address that is provided there. So if you try to communicate with the teaching team and then not find them or maybe not get hold of them, that's when you will contact us so that we can assist you. So if you have any queries, so please post them on the chat and then we will assist you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shirinda Mtombeni. In your presentation, you outlined different streams of specialization in the honors program. You explained the structure of programs in the Department of Psychology in terms of modules. You also discussed issues on registrations and professional registration issues, which are very critical for our students to know. So thank you for a very engaging and very informative presentation. Just a quick reminder to all attendees to make use of the chat, the Q&A, to post your questions and comments. We've also posted a link of an evaluation form on the chat, so please make use of the link to provide us with feedback regarding today's session. You may also indicate which workshops you'd like us to do in the future. In the next presentation, Ms. Mabua, who is a student counselor, provides us with an overview of aspects that we need to consider when planning and managing our career in psychology. Ms. Mabua, over to you.
Good morning, Katlaho, and good morning, colleagues, as well as our students. My name is Mama Shumaboa, and I am a student counselor in Johannesburg Regional Service Center of UNISA. And by profession, I'm a registered counselor, registered as a career counselor with Health Profession Council of South Africa. Today, I'm just going to share with you the profession of psychology as it is from when you start as a student until your master's program, or as when you become a psychologist. So those are my contact numbers. The email address is there, and then the telephone number is there as well later on when you want to contact me or any of our colleagues in the counseling unit. So I'm actually reporting under Gauteng region, but professionally under the Directorate for Counseling and Career Development, which is at Ian Patel in Sunnyside campus. The profession of psychology is one of those broad field of studies with different categories and different field of studies, which you get to branch out on it from your honors studies up to your masters. So during the first level, the second level, or your undergraduate qualification, almost everyone studies the same thing, but then when they go into their honors and masters, then that's when they specialize. So I'm just going to be discussing with you the profession and who are the professionals in the field of psychology, what do they study, for how long, and where do they study. I hope that after this presentation, for our honors students who are actually who want to furthermore, they will get to learn what is it that they need to do and when and where. So in this profession, we have registered counselors, psychometrists, and psychologists. The registered counselors and psychometrists are our honors students, or they actually are the ones that complete their studies and until honors with a 6 months internship in each of a practical training. In this case, what I mean is that after completing your honors, you will be subjected to do an internship for 6 months for you to be able to register with Health Profession Council of South Africa as either a registered counselor or a psychometrist. So we understand that not everyone will make it into the master's program. Meaning that if all that doesn't come along, you are more than welcome to do any of this, whether become a registered counselor or a psychometrist. And as well, when you become a registered registered counselor or a psychometrist with your honors, you can either also try to do or maybe continue to be applying for your masters in any of the categories that are there: clinical psychology, counseling, industrial, educational, and research psychology, and as well as neuropsychology. So what you will be doing when you become a registered counselor or a psychometrist, it doesn't mean that you cannot go on and become a psychologist. Let's say, for example, the clinical, counseling, industrial, and educational does not work for you. Then when you find yourself having to do a research psychology, which normally it's more academic than anything else, even if you complete your master's in your let's say your interest of research, whichever that you choose, you can still be practicing as a registered counselor, but having a research psychology master's. So which as well put you at a better space for you to be in line with what other psychologists are doing. The only difference will be the category that you are affiliated with. And this as well, you can go further and do your PhD and become a doctor in research psychology, but still practicing as a psychometrist or as a registered counselor. The reason why I'm emphasizing this is because with registered with a research psychology, you don't get to be registered with HPCSA because it's more of an academic. So you only get to register with HPCSA when your study is clinical and professional, like that, or administrative, I will say it like that. So meaning that only clinical psychologists, counseling, industrial and educational psychologists, as well as neuropsychologists will be able to register with HPCSA as psychologists. But that does not mean when you have a master's or you become a research psychologist, you are less of a psychologist. That's why I encourage that maybe if you want to practice, register with HPCSA as a counselor or as a psychometrist. That way you will continue to practice, but you're not going to be doing the work that clinical counseling, industrial and educational psychologists do. So we also have the psychologists, which are clinical counseling, industrial and neuropsychology or research psychology, and as well as research psychologists, which have to study until their master's program. So if you become lucky for you to get into one of these field of studies, then you can do it. The reason why I'm mentioning luck on this one is because they always take a minimum number of students for our master's program. And these always, create anxiety amongst our students to say, why do they allow us to do honors with so many of us, but then when it comes to masters, then they take a limited number. Remember, on your masters, you do a dissertation or thesis, which you need to get a supervisor for it. So UNISA most of the time will struggle with having enough supervisors in this field. And as well, it's not only UNISA, actually, it's mostly all the institutions. And besides struggling with the supervisors, it also becomes hectic for supervisors because there's a lot of work that needs to be done on your research document. So hence they will also take a minimum number of students per year, so to supervise for their masters. So hence I say, when you decide to go into this field, you need to keep your box open and think out of the box, and also be flexible in the sense that if you thought from the beginning of your study that you are going to become a clinical psychologist or a counseling psychologist or industrial or research psychologist, but maybe your choice is not coming along, please be open to change into any of the categories, because at the end of the day, the work is still the same. We still become psychologists, all of us, when we finish our studies, when we finish our masters. So there is no there's no pressure in becoming either one of them if it doesn't work for you. But if it works, yes, that will be nice. But if it doesn't, keep your options flexible to that extent. I think the previous the previous presenter actually put it well on the field of study in the psychology, especially from where you start until the end. But this is how it goes about. So the one more important thing that I also want to highlight is that you need to check with the modules, because every master's program, it requires a certain modules for you to be able to qualify for. I know the research methodology, the psychometric assessments. I don't know the modules how they are at UNISA, because I didn't study at UNISA. So, but I know those modules and neuropsychology, community psychology form part of the master's program. So, for whatever honors that you are doing right now, you need to check if those modules are available, or check with the institutions, different institutions, of which modules do they recommend for you to have completed in order for you to be accepted for masters. And I've also heard that earlier on, one of the presenters mentioned that you cannot repeat a module from UNISA. So in a case whereby maybe you don't have any of those modules, you can also try to do them as a non-degree purposes for you to be able to qualify, which as well you need to consider, because this is some of the little informations that we are not being told when we embark in the journey, until when we are about to step into the next phase of our profession and we get stuck. So just prepare yourself for now. And make sure that whatever that you are doing now, it is aligned well with the masters that you want to embark in, or the career that you want to embark in the psychology field. So for masters in psychology, we have educational psychology, which needs you to, I highlighted this because I know for clinical and counseling psychology, it's standard, and research psychology is standard, as long as you have your honors with an average percentage that the universities require, you might be able to get entry. But with masters in educational psychology, there is an addition of education background or teaching background that you need to have. Like, for example, with UNISA students, because they are studying the BA honors and going forward. So when they want to go into educational psychology, it means that they will also have to add PGCE as part and parcel of their studies, because they need you to have that background. They need you to know what happens in the teaching environment. So for now, everyone who would want to go into this, they will need to consider doing honors. Doing PGCE. And then, or maybe get an experience in the institution of higher learning, especially maybe, let's say, for example, someone who is an administrative officer in counseling or in any of the UNISA departments. For that fact that you are working in the institution of higher learning, universities like University of Pretoria do accept you with that experience and background. You don't need to do PGCE, but most of the institutions require you to have teaching background, which in this case, what will be applicable for you will be PGCE, or rather just that education degree. And there are students who are studying education but majoring in psychology, then those ones are covered if they maneuver the profession in psychology later on in their lives. And then where do we study this psychology profession? I will have to acknowledge that most of the institutions in South Africa, they offer psychology. And if maybe you want to find out more, about those institutions, you can refer to the HPCSA 2019 Accredited Universities in South Africa. This is where you will get all the institutions that offer either B-Psych equivalents or master's programs. And there are institutions that also offer B-Psych, which I want to elaborate more on it, because I know that as a UNISA student, you did not do B-Psych, you followed a route of BA and honors. So with the BA, with the B-Psych, it's a 4-year program, which is offered in other institutions. Once you are done with it, you become a registered counselor, depending on your interest in terms of the category, whether you want to become a career counselor or a trauma counselor. But then for us, those who are studying with UNISA, after we complete our honors, then we will have to do a B-Psych equivalence. And the B-Psych equivalence, you have to obtain that certificate within that 6 months of internship. You will register with a specific institution and also be doing a training or a practical training where you'll be based in a company that offers trauma counseling, employee wellness, career counseling, and all those, or under the supervision of a psychologist. Then when you registered for B-Psych equivalence, there will be a portfolio of evidence, because you have to come to the you have to go to the company every day. Then after that, there will be a collection of evidence that you have served 720 hours, and then you get your B-Psych equivalence. Then with that evidence, you can take it to HPCSA and register, apply to write the board exam and write the board exam, and then later on become a registered counselor or a psychometrist. So the period of studies, we all know, we start with our undergraduate qualification from which is 3 years minimum, and also our honors, which goes between 1 or 2 years, and also master's program, which goes for 2 to 3 years. But this depends on how fast you work with your research, and also saving the community service and the internship that is involved in other categories, like your clinical, educational, and counseling psychology. But if it's just an industrial, of course, but if it's just a research psychology, then you can do it within a specified time. There is no internship, there's nothing. So you just serve your thesis and you will be done. So one more thing that I also want to highlight, as you can see there, it's a selections and interviews process. For other categories, or let me just be specific, for clinical, counseling, educational, and industrial psychology, there are selection processes, there are interviews there. So the competition is very high. When you want to get into this, the selection starts from the average percentage of your honors psychology, which most institutions recommend or require 65%. So in your honors now, you must work for 65% average, and that will be, or more, that will be the selection procedure that will be taken from the first time. Then on the second time, when you get selected, then, or when you get shortlisted, then you will undergo interviews. And until the interviews go for about 2 to 3 days, depending on the institution, or even more than that, 5 days. It goes along this, depending on the institution. Then on those interviews, they will be interviewing you. There will be face-to-face interview, one-on-one interviews. There will be group interviews, and in that, every single day after each an interview, or after after each selection process, there will be eliminations. So every day when you go for the interview, when you make it for the first phase, then the second day you have to go, and then every day you have to go and check your name again if you have made it to the second or the third phase. Then when all that happens, it's just gonna be you having to, keeping your fingers crossed and checking on the board if whether your name appears. If it doesn't appear, then that will be your tough luck. You have to go. I am saying all of this so that you can now start preparing yourself for that, because it becomes a huge disappointment for a lot of students. And hence, I always suggest that you keep your options flexible, because you might not make it into clinical psychology or counseling psychology, but make it in educational or research psychology or industrial psychology. Make sure that you just keep your options open for such reasons. And then I'm going to emphasize on the professional with honors psychology, but I think I have made it a bit clear earlier on to say what does research psychology, research counselors and psychometrists so how do they go about? So this is how it is. If you have a BA degree and also an honors, then you will just go into the 4 B-Psych equivalents, which is a 6 months internship, and also write your board exam, and thereafter then you register as a registered counselor and or a psychometrist. The registered counselors, they do counseling, whereas psychometrists specialize in psychometric assessments or psychological assessments. And in this field, the registered counselors have an option of becoming career counselors, trauma counselors, pastoral or school counselors. And in psychometry, it's either an independent or dependent registration as a psychometrist, which means that you can be independent and practice on your own, or be dependent in for being being supervised by a psychologist. So psychometrists work hand in hand with industrial psychologists, because they work more onto selections and I would say recruitment. So it happens in that way. If a company wants to appoint someone and then they just want to do a psychometric assessment on them, then they send them to either psychometrist or industrial psychologist, and then to check if whether that person is suitable for that particular post or not. And then they make the selections based on that. So if maybe you don't manage to go into masters, all of this you can practice on your own. In a case whereby you don't make it into masters, you can try to register as a counselor or as a psychometrist and open your own practice and practice independently. And then on the HPCSA 2018 document, these are the institutions that offer registered counseling. Please take them down. And psychometry. We have SECAP, which has a program in registered counseling, which runs for about 1 year, 6 months. And then we also have Cornerstone, which has the same program running for 6 months. I don't know the reasons behind why SECAP does this for 1 year, 6 months, but that's how it is. You just need to find out how the processes work and the pricing as well, because there's a fee that you need to pay. And then with University of Limpopo and University of Venda and Walter Sisulu, they have the B-Psych, which I said is 4 years, and after completing it, you become a registered counselor, but they don't offer the B-Psych equivalence. So the SECAP and Cornerstone, they offer B-Psych equivalents so that you can be registered with HPCSA. And then we have psychometry, which Northwest University, both Vaal and Potchefstroom campuses have the psychometries equivalent, I mean BPsych equivalents for psychometries, as well as Stellenbosch and University of Johannesburg. Make your inquiries and find out what is the processes for selections and as well as for undergoing the internship, so that if whatever if you were hoping to become a psychologist and it doesn't work, then you can be maybe, you know, mingling around this when you prepare yourself for becoming a psychologist, if that doesn't happen when you want it to. But these are the options available for you with your honors in psychology, of course. For more information, you are more than welcome to go onto HPCSA website. You will find Form 777, which have the companies and universities that offers psychometry and registered counselors. We also have 2019 accredited universities in South Africa that offers, I mean, that has the whole list of universities that offers the programs in psychology from honors until your masters. And then we have GNR 951 2012, which is the regulations for registration of students in psychometry, and also the one for counselors there. And of course, you can always just go onto HPCSA under psychology. You will find as much information as possible for you to familiarize yourself and also prepare yourself for the journey ahead of you. And you know, it's very much important to note that at this point in time, most institutions do not have the BPsych equivalents. It's just only the two that I've mentioned earlier, SECAP and Cornerstone. UNISA used to have, but since 2012, it doesn't have anymore. And also note that we, as registered counselors or psychologists, they have an annual registration fee, which last year for registered counselors like myself, we paid 1.2. So whether you are working in this field or you're not, as long as you are registered with HPCSA, you will have to pay for it. Hence now, if maybe you are following the story of Dr. Nandipa, you know that HPCSA is saying she's no longer a doctor because her annual registration hasn't been renewed for the past 4 years. So that is that if you don't, then HPCSA does not recognize you. And if you apply for positions during the time you are not registered, then the companies have power to revoke your application because of that. And then we also do continued professional development where you need to obtain points in line with the profession. You need to attend workshops, you need to attend seminars. In a period of 2 years, you need about 60 points. And this happens randomly where HPCSA will just audit your name and will require one to bring about their certificates of showing that they were attending the workshops. Currently in the counseling unit, we are using De Novo from University of Pretoria to acquire the points for ourselves, where you just write some tests and then they give you CPD points or ethics points. And then when HPCSA audit us, then we are able to just provide them with evidence that we are actually complying, because this is more about compliance. And then we also have the professional bodies. I spoke much about HPCSA. I'm sure you all now understand what it is all about, but it's all for professional psychology, for all professional psychologists and registered counselors and psychometrists. And then we also have SIOPSA that governs the industrial and organizational psychologist. We have the South African Association for Counseling Psychology, where you also get to affiliate with, and this helps you with, just being in touch with what is happening in the field of counseling psychology if you become a counseling psychologist. And we also have counselors for counselors in South Africa, and then the South African Association for Counselors. These two professional bodies, they allow students with honors in psychology who have volunteered anywhere or served some time as volunteers or working in the field of psychology, even if they are not registered with HPCSA. So if, for example, in the counseling unit, we have a mentorship program. We used to have peer help program where the students in psychology will come and assist us. So now it's called mentorship program, where the senior students mentor junior students, which are our undergraduate students. If you happen to be one of us, and then you want to register with one of these two professional bodies, we can just help you in getting the 720 hours. Then you submit the 720 hours to this one of these professional bodies, Council for Counselors and the South African Association for Counselors, and you become a counselor. And in this case, you don't become a registered counselor like when you are with HPCSA. Get this cleared. This just helps you to practice and be able to see clients, but you won't be able to like HPCSA won't be recognizing you, and then at the same time, you will not be able to claim from medical aid unless otherwise maybe you collaborate or you work together with a registered counselor who has an HPCSA PRC number. So this is, I just highlight this so that, because I understand that our profession has a lot of dynamics and which might not work for everybody. So this is just for you to say, if it doesn't work in this way, then let me just try this way. It might work. So the point will be for you to, just be able to find a source of income or be able to work. In the meantime, when you are waiting for you to be able to go into masters or register with HPCSA in any of the categories that I have mentioned. And then I recommend that you consider voluntary work because it has worked for many. I know Harold was one of us back in the days, and now he is a lecturer as a voluntary peer helper, which I know a whole lot of people that have worked with us as voluntary workers. They are now having positions. They are not registered with the board, but they are now having positions in the government departments. And make enough research as much as possible so that you understand the profession and its dynamics and the successes, of course, because it cannot be only the challenges, they are successes. So and also try to study as hard as possible. The competition in this profession is very high when it comes to the selections, when it comes to becoming a psychologist in any of the categories. So the process, it's very heavy. That is why even the voluntary work, or just being having a mentor, a psychologist mentor, will help you, because in that way you will understand what the profession is all about, and even when you go for those interviews, then you know exactly what is needed from you. And then this is my last slide, which I want to encourage any of you who is attending here today to join us on the 12th and 13th of April, where we are going to be hosting a psychology professionals event. So in this, or during this event, we are going to have professional bodies that will outline all what they do. We will have clinical, educational, counseling, research, industrial psychologists who are also going to be sharing with us how their journey looked like and how they made it through and what are the successes and challenges in their profession based on their experiences, of course. And also we will be having a cognition and company that will also be assisting with the selection processes, because we understand that is a heavy process, but they know better. They are psychologists in different categories, and they will assist the students on how to prepare themselves for the interviews during the master's selection. With all that being said, those are my contact details. Once again, you can always contact me, and for this event, I will send you the information and all the links appropriate for the event. And thank you so much, colleagues, for organizing this, and thanks, students, for listening.
Thank you so much, Ms. Mabua. Thank you for a very detailed presentation. In your presentation, you outlined different specialization in psychology at master's level. You touched on possible career pathways that one can explore at honors level. You covered career options and opportunities at undergraduate level. And you also covered issues relating to selection process, and that one needs to be really flexible in terms of their career pathway, especially at master's level, which I think is a very important thing that our students should be mindful of and always remember. But very key to your presentation, the issue of transferable skills, that our students should think broadly and think about how they can contribute to the labor market, even if they have just completed their degree, and to think about how they can contribute to their communities. And indeed, I started my career by volunteering in the psychology field, and this was very instrumental in my career. The next presentation covers academic integrity. As psychology students and professionals, we are encouraged to be ethical in our practice and to uphold ethical standards in how we do things. And one of the ways in terms of us as students or students who are studying in the psychology department is being ethical in how we conduct our assessments, how we complete our assessments. And in line with that notion, the next presentation is presented by Dr. Janice Modley from the Research Ethics Committee. The presentation will be focusing on Turn-It-In and plagiarism as some of the concepts that are embedded within academic integrity. Dr. Modley, over to you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ngwane. I appreciate the introduction, and I would just like to thank the organizers of this session, Mr. Ngwane, our acting COD, Dr. Erilyn Gordon, our executive dean, Prof. Nkosi, that is here, as well as our organizer, Mr. Pilani, for giving me the opportunity to briefly speak to you about academic integrity. And I hope that you realize after the presentation that I hope that our paths never cross in my capacity in the Academic Integrity Committee. And I think that after you listen to the presentation, you would understand why. So I'm just going to quickly share my screen just to give you some insight. Okay, so just very briefly, the purpose of the Academic Integrity Committee at UNISA is to ensure academic integrity is rigorously assured and proactively defended in all aspects of teaching and scholarship at the university. And there are various policies that I encourage you as students to go and look for on the website so that you become au fait with the seriousness with which UNISA takes any act of academic dishonesty. UNISA has a zero tolerance policy for academic dishonesty of any kind. just to give you an example of, the structure of the academic committee, a student disciplinary committee, at an institutional level, we have the Institutional Student Disciplinary Committee, and this committee meets on all matters related to postgraduate matters. So honors falls under postgraduate matters, and any repeat undergrad offenders or cases. And then each college within UNISA has its own academic integrity committee as well. Okay, so what is academic dishonesty? So anything that would give you a competitive advantage over another student is regarded as academic dishonesty if it is unlawfully done as well. So things like copying from somebody else or allowing somebody to copy from you, using notes or collaborating with somebody during exams or closed book assignments, using the assignments of past students, forging any documents, or any other ethical violations are regarded as acts of academic dishonesty. So I would really urge you to go and look at your tutorial letters and look at the conditions under which your lecturers expect you to complete your assignments and your exams. And generally, the instructions that are given is that you have to work independently. What you submit as your assignment or your examination has to be your own work and not the work of any other person, or you should not receive assistance from any other person when doing your assignments and especially your closed book examinations. So the main act of academic dishonesty that we see at UNISA with our students is plagiarism. So plagiarism is briefly the unintentional or the intentional use of someone else's work and passing it off as your own without acknowledging the person. And plagiarism occurs when you use somebody else's words or ideas, and you do not cite them, at the end of your work. So if you look very briefly at the slide that I'm showing you, I did not come up with, the definition of what plagiarism is. I had to go and research and look at a particular article to look at what plagiarism actually is. So it's not my own idea. And because it's not my own idea, I've had to reference it. And in psychology we use APA referencing. And please go and look at your tutorial letters. Go and look at the tutorial letter for the honors degree, and you will see that there's lots of information that is given to you about referencing, particularly referencing using the APA 7 style. So anytime when you use any idea or words that are not your own, you either put it, if you're using the words directly, you write the author, the year, and the page number as well. Or even if you're just using ideas from a person, you still have to cite them using their surname and the year. So when in doubt, please go and Google. There's many references out there on Google and PDF documents on the internet that can show you how to reference using APA 7. And in many cases, especially with first-year students, we find that they don't know how to reference. But with UNISA taking such an aggressive stance against plagiarism, there are many resources that are available within the academy to ensure that there shouldn't be an excuse for why students don't know how to reference. Okay, so at UNISA, we look at, sorry, just a second. Yeah. Okay, at UNISA, we basically use two different software tools to help us with plagiarism. The first one is the Invigilator app. So if you're a first-time student at UNISA, you may not be familiar with the Invigilator app, and I'll just briefly explain that to you. So the Invigilator app is meant to replace a face-to-face invigilator that you would normally have in a venue-based examination. So how does the Invigilator app do this? It does this in a variety of ways. The first thing that the Invigilator app will ask you is for a QR code. And the QR code is something that is specific to the exam that you are writing. And the QR code will be provided by your lecturer prior to the exam. It is just a security check to ensure that you are writing the right exam. After you are submitted into the exam, the Invigilator app will ask you for a few questions, and it will also randomly ask you for different or for photographs during your exam session. And this is just to verify that the person that is supposed to be writing the exam is in fact the person that is writing it. So it cross-references it against your photograph that is already in the system to ensure that it really is you that is writing the exam. It also picks up noises in your external environment. So please ensure that when you are sitting for your exam, especially if it's a closed book exam, that there are no noises around you because you will be flagged by the Invigilator app. If you are flagged by the Invigilator app for whatever reason because of external noise, that soundbite will then come to your lecturer. Your lecturer will open it up and will then check if the soundbite is related to plagiarism or any form of academic honesty at all. And we have had many instances at institutional and college SDC where we can clearly pick up when students are having conversations about answers, where they're getting external help from other students, as well as even parents giving them assistance with a particular exam. So please be very, very careful about that. But obviously, life happens. And if there's a dog barking in the background or your mom comes in and offers you tea during the session, you're not going to be penalized for things that are not related to the exam. So don't be too stressed about that. And then the Invigilator app will also has a function where it can pick up similarities with other students' scripts. So please think again before you copy from another student, because the Invigilator app has become quite progressive in picking up similarities between student scripts. It then generates a report, and we can see the report and can pick up exactly where similarities are. And another tool that the Invigilator app uses is called geotagging. And that basically shows us when students are in close proximity to each other. So if you are sitting and writing with another student for reasons such as load shedding, or you share the same office space, the Invigilator app will flag you as sitting in close proximity to another student. That in itself is not a crime. It is not academic dishonesty if you're sitting with a person and working independently on your assessment. Where it becomes evidence is where we look at the similarities between scripts, and you can see very clearly that there is unmistakable similarity between the scripts, and then we take into account the fact that there are two evidence indicators that the student has plagiarized. So as lecturers, we mark hundreds and thousands of scripts, and we have the ability to look at lots of scripts and detect where there are uncanny similarities. So please be aware of that, and please refrain from any form of academic dishonesty during your assessments. We also look at Turnitin reports, especially when it comes to assignments, and your Turnitin reports look for similarities across all documents that are available on the internet. So it's very hard not to get caught in terms of having a high similarity when it comes to a Turnitin report, because it really does such a wide search on the information that is available on the internet. And I'm not sure if you are aware, but there are now, there are ever advancing plagiarism tools that are there to help you plagiarize that are based on the internet, and there are also that you may also receive SMSs from external service providers that are offering you assistance in return for remuneration. They promise that they will give you assignments, that are individually tailored, and you take that assignment and you submit it, and then you get flagged for plagiarism because there are hundreds of other students that have the same model answer that you were given. So please refrain from engaging with any external vendors. Use your lecturers as a resource if you don't understand something. And there are plagiarism tools, that are available, and I think that they are packaged more as information or gathering systems, where you can, and I'm not going to mention the names of them, but you can put in specific questions and they will give you specific answers. I just want to make you aware of something, that research has indicated that students who use these types of software, even though it's not intended for plagiarism, it's actually intended to synthesize information far more quickly. But students use it as a quick cheat and incorporate it into their assignments. That will be detected by Turnitin. But more than that, please understand that there is research that indicates that these answers are nothing more than maybe a pass mark or a fail. The software is not sophisticated enough to give legitimate answers that are required at a tertiary level. And in other instances, research has shown that some of the references that are used by these tools are actually made up references as well. So please think twice before using any data synthesizing tools for plagiarism. Rather use it as a source or a tool to improve your writing, but certainly not as a tool to cheat the system, because you will be found out. So what are the consequences of academic dishonesty? And UNISA, as I said, has a zero tolerance policy for academic dishonesty. This is because it can cause incredible institutional reputational damage, where there are instances where it can dilute the integrity of a qualification. And when it dilutes the integrity of a qualification, then the accreditation might or the institution might lose its accreditation for a particular degree, and that affects not only you but everybody else that has ever enrolled for that degree and the current students that have enrolled for the degree, but then that are trying to work honestly. And you, in addition to the institution losing their credibility, students also lose their credibility. And a lot of our students are working and studying. And you find that when they come to the disciplinary hearings to voice their cases, a lot of them tell us that their employers have actually paid for their studies. And now they have to go back to their employers if they are found guilty of academic dishonesty, and they need to explain why they have been suspended from the institution. And this can affect your earning in your income. It can affect your bursary applications and payouts because you are now suspended from the university. It also may have legal repercussions if the university or other external parties seek compensation because you have taken their work and passed it off as your own. It also robs you because you are in an academic environment where the purpose of you being in an academic institution is to learn the valuable skills that you will then take into the world of work. So this is the place where you learn valuable professional skills. You also learn professional ethics and what is required in the world of work. So when you conduct academic dishonesty, it also gives you a false sense of understanding what the world of work is like. So if you are, and research has also shown that if students are unethical in an academic context or are found guilty of any form of academic dishonesty, their chances are that they will also be academically dishonest going into the world of work. So please be aware that employers are also becoming increasingly sophisticated in wanting to know whether students have been found guilty of academic dishonesty at an institutional level, because they would certainly not want a chartered accountant that has been found guilty of academic honesty now running the finances of their company. And just think about it from your own personal perspective. I'm sure that you would not want to go to a doctor that was found guilty of academic dishonesty in any regard as well. So this is the place where we learn, to stay away from acts of academic dishonesty and to work to the best of our ability. So why do students commit academic dishonor or acts of academic dishonesty? And this is a very, very complex question. There isn't, one simple answer, because there's many psychological and social phenomenon that, would actually facilitate a student cheating. But I just want to share some of the experiences that I've had at institutional and college STC. And, we have this misconception that people that cheat are bad people. But what I found is that people that cheat can be good people, but they just, for whatever reason, make bad decisions. And I urge you here today to not make those same bad decisions. Some of them, want a better life. They come and they study. Some of them have come as first-generation university students. They've never been in the system before. They've never had anybody else to rely on for guidance. They get these unscrupulous texts from people offering them help, and they take it. And they do so sometimes unwittingly because they have pressure from work, because they want to make a better life for themselves and their family, and they look for this type of support. But unfortunately, this is the wrong type of support, because it comes back and these students are suspended. So suspensions can last anything from 6 months to 5 years. So there's very, very serious consequences for any act of academic dishonesty. You get students that come in that are single parents, single mothers, that cannot juggle the work-life balance that is needed to study in an open distance learning institution. And they get overwhelmed, particularly when there are lots of assignments that are due at the same time. So I urge you that from the beginning of the year, look at your calendar, look at where all your assignments are due, when your exams will be written, and try to plan your assignment submissions and your exam planning around this. You are at university. It is such a privilege and an honor for you to have even been accepted to postgraduate studies at a tertiary facility or tertiary education facility. Please don't throw it away because of poor time management. Look at your tutorial letters, read it from back to front. There's many students that don't read the tutorial letters and therefore are not familiar with what the demands of a particular module are. And as lecturers, we get emails closer to the time where people ask us for extensions and ask us for other leeways in terms of submission dates. And I want to please urge you that this is not the way to go. As students in a postgraduate degree, you're expected to work independently, but to also navigate the system by reading your tutorial letters and becoming familiar with what is expected of you. You also get other students that have this very nonchalant attitude where they feel that cheating is not really affecting anyone. It's not doing any harm to anyone. Everybody's doing it, so why shouldn't I? You'll also be invited to various WhatsApp groups or Telegram groups where cheating occurs blatantly online during exam sessions, etc. Please understand that these sites are monitored, they are being looked at. And when you engage with this type of academic misconduct online, other students can submit your names as you being part of the group and being fraudulent in the group. So please be aware of these things before you go online and start exchanging questions and start cheating using these social media platforms. So that's about it from me. And if you have any questions, please feel free to contact any one of us that are on this slide. And I sincerely hope that none of you are ever found guilty or ever come to a student disciplinary hearing, because I can tell you that it is not pleasant. It is an extremely stressful situation to be in, especially if you find yourself being found guilty and suspended from the university. This has far-reaching consequences because you find that when you are suspended from the university, this not only affects your employment opportunities, even if you want to go and register at another university. One of the questions that you are asked on the application form is if you have ever been suspended or excluded from another university. And you will have to disclose that you were suspended from UNISA because of academic dishonesty. And the chances are that this will directly affect your chances of being accepted at another university. And this may also be reflected on your academic record for the rest of your life. So please think twice about conducting any form of academic dishonesty. Reference everything that you come across. learn how to paraphrase efficiently and effectively, use Google as a tool to assist you with this, use YouTube as a tool to assist you with this. And I wish you well with your studies and all the best. Thank you. And if you have any questions, you can put it in the chat box. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Moodley. This has been an awesome presentation and a very necessary one. Sure, I can just imagine students, as a student, that having to face that kind of disciplinary process, it will be a whole lot of unpleasant experience. Thank you, Dr. Moodley. We have taken all of the points that you have highlighted and emphasized in the presentation. We will now go on to Q&A. We have a Q&A portal on the platform, which students have been forwarding their questions, and I see that colleagues have been responding. But for now, I see that some of them, I see a few of them, just about 2, I think. But the one is from Anonymous, directed to, I think, Miss Maboa. The student says, did I hear that correctly, that Cornerstone Psych equivalent allows honors graduates who wish to become registered counselors to do just 6 months practical under supervision compared to the 18 months required by SACAP? Please clarify. Ms. Mabua, are you able to address that that question?
Hello, Harold. What was the question?
Oh yeah, the student says, did you does Cornerstone Psych equivalent allow honors graduates who wish to become registered counselors to do just the 6 months practical under supervision as compared to the 18 months that's required by the SACAP?
Yes. Cornerstone takes for it's for 6 months, but what they need to find out is the mode of learning, if whether it's going to be a part-time or a full-time kind of, because it's in Cape Town.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much for that response. I suppose that the student has received that. This is usually does UNISA assist honors. Okay, the other one is does UNISA assist honors graduates with the 6-month practical placements in order for them to eventually be registered with the HPCSA as registered counselors or psychometrists? Ms. Mabu, I think this is also
Yeah, I think I clarified this earlier on to say UNISA used to have in the DCCD, used to have the internship for 6 months, but currently it doesn't have. So the student is responsible to check the institutions that offer and make their own inquiries. And when they are, let's say you register for psychometry internship with UJ will have an employer placement or a company placement that they have a list of them, and then you can choose whatever that is closer to you for transportation and convenience purposes. But some companies do offer salaries for those internships. Some they do not, because it's part of your learning. So what they need to take note of is that the institutions themselves, there is a certain fee that you have to pay. Last time when I checked with UJ for their internship, for that 6 months, excluding the in-service training or the practical training, just a theoretical training from their side for BPsych equivalents, it was about 76,000. So I'm not sure how much it is now. This is the inquiries that the students themselves should make.
Okay, thank you. The other question, oh yeah, it's also from, I think this one is for Dr. Shirindam Tombeni. They say, I'm still learning how to navigate myUnisa. Earlier there was a mention of the discussion forums and student cafes. Do all modules have these? Where can I locate them? Auskit, I think this is your take.
Yes, thank you very much, Katleho. Yes, we do have the discussion forums, but not all the modules. Some modules have discussion forums, and then some have student cafes, as I indicated before. Okay. Some might have both discussion forum and a student cafe. So they are on your module side. When you check on your left-hand side, there's a list of items there. You will check if there is a discussion forum or the student cafe. All right. But not on all the modules, but I believe that most of the modules have a discussion forum. Okay. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I think that is just about it as far as our inquiries. I see that all of the others are responded to. Yeah, and I don't see any other questions. Perhaps I should ask if any of the presenters would like to just add or perhaps have a comment that they would like to offer before we move on with the program. Okay, I think that this would mean that we are all sorted. And okay, moving on, I would like to call upon our Executive Dean, Professor Nkosi, to do a vote of thanks for this event. Prof. Nkosi, the podium is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pilane. My network is not good. Am I audible?
Yes, Prof. Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, I would love to thank our students first. I noted that we had 88 people who logged in. We appreciate them. We want them to succeed. That's why we are here. And my motto is that the student is king. We are here at UNISA because of them. I would love to thank them very much for registering for the honors in the Department of Psychology. A big thank you to Mr. Pilane and Mr. Ngongwane for running the show. You were on time, and also you gave the speakers enough time to deliberate on their presentation. And also a big warm welcome to Dr. Gordon. You really welcome us. We appreciate your presence and your leadership in the department. Ms. Prinsloo, in her absentia, to say we acknowledge her guidance in how students need to navigate the UNISA platform in registration and the expectations of the requirement. Ms. Simkra gave us the importance of retention, because when students come to UNISA, we want to see them graduating and taking opportunities in the field. So we want them to be retained. There is support that is offered by the department and the college. Students must take note of the information that was shared. I asked a question to Mr. Nkuna. I'm not sure whether Mr. Pilane and Mr. Nkuna is still around, because we are having challenges by students who do not disclose on admission. later on the year, then they need support, and the lecturer is not aware that she's got a student who is living with a disability. We need to encourage our students to disclose so that we support them fully. I was expecting him to guide us on what do we do as the college in case a student has not disclosed. But I think you'll do the follow-up, Mr. Pilane.
Absolutely, Prof.
And yes, thank you to Mr. Molife from the library. They always say when you want to hide something, you must hide it in the books. The library is open, the books are easily available. It's up to the student now to utilize all the resources that are available. Encouraging students to go to the library and request from the subject librarian any assistance that they might need, because we are here for them. And then Dr. Shirin Tombeni, thank you very much for guiding the students on the selection that needs to be done, because sometimes student mixes the streams and then later on they say they were not informed. I heard you clearly about the importance of choosing the correct streams and also to stick into your module selection, and also what needs to be registered to HPCSA and also what is not registered. Thank you very much for that. And then Ms. Mabua gave us a very detailed description of what needs to go in the practical preparedness of our student, the career opportunities that are available, and the different options the students can go through when they have attained their honors in psychology. Dr. Modley, your words cannot be plagiarized. You explain exactly what needs to be done, because at UNISA we are affected by people who are unethical, who approach our students for extra help. I want a student who will be proud to say, I got my degree fair, clean, and square. Your presentation guided the student on how to always adhere to UNISA policies and not plagiarize, because once you are caught, you are suspended. And then I end up getting appeals. Prof, please add me. There was a cockroach, there was this, that's why. And then we cannot support the student. And colleagues, I would love to appreciate what the Department of Psychology is doing. Please pat yourself on your back. You are doing extremely good in supporting our students. The way you are staggering your orientation programs, it's really appreciated. Your leadership, your teamwork, your collegiality, I appreciate you. And I wish the students all the best. The doors are open for support. Thank you very much. Program directors, I appreciate your efforts and your support. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Ngosi, for your presence and the words of encouragement. We are really encouraged to do more and to improve our services and support our students. I wish to thank all the students who have joined us. Feel free to contact us should you need more clarity. Also, a special thank you to the organizing team and Dr. Gordon for your support as well. We have come to the end of the session. I wish all the students the best. I wish you all the best. Thank you to our presenters as well for engaging us today, giving us a very informative information and very engaging presentation. Colleagues, students, thank you so much. We have come to the end of the session. The session is officially closed, and all the best to everyone. Goodbye.